Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Wow, we made it. And you see what I'm wearing? You see what I'm wearing? This is just to tell you where we're going. We are going back to Titanic the Experience, or Titanic Ship of Dreams first, then Titanic the Experience, and even Titanic the Science Center in Orlando. We're going there too. We'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about all of that and more. I want you to tell me where you're from. If you're in the room, tell me where you're from, who you are. Tell me you're here. Love to hear from you. Here comes Jac Ledoux, the unsinkable Jac Ledoux. There you are, my love. How are you?
Oh, Annie's here. Oh, Captain, my captain. Hey, Ann.
Hey, Annie Barnes. There you Annie Sheets. Excuse me. Well, you'll answer to both. I know. I'm taking this off because it really is. It's hot and it's dusty as hell.
It's been
that is a replica of the captain's hat, of a hat from that period, and right down to the emblem there. That's White Star. Anyways, we got a great show tonight, and I don't want to waste any time getting this together.
Nope.
Let us bring in our guests. Now, Jac, of course, played Molly Brown. She also played my wife, Eleanor Widener, in the dinner show.
Maybe with her twice.
Yep, and this next young lady played Mrs. Widener many times. Her name is Lori McKaskill. There she is.
Oh, hi.
And Mrs. Strauss.
And Mrs. Strauss as well. Did you ever actually play Mrs. Strauss, Lori? I know you were.
You know what was funny is I was trained in to play her, and then I showed up that night ready to go and found out it wasn't until the next Saturday.
No.
Ah!
Yeah, because I'm a little challenged when it comes to a calendar.
And,
Well, you and Patty Corso.
Well, then it was funny because I was filling in for Carol, who was out of town, and then she ended up coming back that week. So then I ended up never playing her. So she said, I would like to go ahead and play her this week. I went, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. So.
Yeah,
well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one more big guest tonight, and maybe a surprise guest later on. I don't know, and you never know who might pop in from the peanut gallery. But I want to bring out somebody who was instrumental in Titanic, the Ship of Dreams, Titanic the Experience, because had it not been for this guy, we would have been in the dark, and we would have been without any music and various other sundry things. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lee Evereitt, there he is.
Hey guys!
Wow. So great to see all of you. And anybody who's watching who worked at the ship, as we called it. Anybody who's watching who worked at the ship, please don't feel slighted, because I can only have so many people on the show at a time. And you see, I just lost Lee, but he'll come back. He will come back. So I'm sure he'll be. Well, he just got you couldn't see him on your end, but he flew out on my end. There he is.
Sorry about
Ladies
that.
and gentlemen, Lee
Evereitt.
All right. It was very strange. It was really weird because you kind of flew out of the screen for me. It was bizarre. But Lee kept us in lights. Lee kept us in lights through 1, 2, 3 venues.
4.
Oh, that's 4. No, it was. Well,
Yeah, remember the one?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Place?
When I'm talking about venues, I'm talking buildings. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Yes, and the challenges were many.
Yes, sir.
For Lee and for all of us, quite frankly.
And Lee did play the captain also.
Yes, he did. Yes, he also played. He played something else that you guys
Hey there,
might not
Jimmy
be aware of.
You don't forget the hot in the middle of the shipyard, sir.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
there was that. And you also wore one of these, but without all this at one point.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
captain,
It was.
but Lee
it was,
was the original light holder.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
indeed. First officer light holder.
Way back in the day. Way back in
my
the day.
friends call me Lights. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, we
that
called
was
you light.
before.
We called you many things, Lee. Many things.
They called me good. They called
Oh no.
You just don't know, boyo. You just don't know. There you go. And Lee was but Lee was our tech director as well, and kept things moving, and we were very grateful for that. And he's still one of those out of Universal Studios here in Orlando.
Yep.
Which
Actually,
you're allowed to say. You're allowed to say someone works at Universal Studios when they work here in Orlando. If you were working in Osaka, Lee, I could not tell anybody that you were working there.
Really?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I did not know that.
Very strange. Very strange. We're at least not while you're still working. I can say I used to work there, but I couldn't say I was working there on any broadcast media while I was working there. Interestingly enough. So let me start. I'm going to stay. Lee, you and I are probably the longest running cast members who are in this room right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I think I came in shortly after you did, actually.
Yeah, I came in November of '99.
Yeah, it was right in the beginning.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
At the Mercado, right?
Yes, we were at the Mercado, and it was myself and Nikki Darden were hired on, and we were the next two just after the original cast. Of course, I had like Steven Stanger. I had Mark Frazier. I can't remember the blonde-headed guy that was always in the shipyard. Oh my gosh, it's a long time ago. He was as much of a Star Wars geek as I was. So, but yeah, it was a long time ago.
It was 20 years
back in the days, and then I think Jack, you came along next. Well, I came after Lee,
and then
you came along. Now, my first character there. Well, everybody's first character who was a male was shipyard. 24 hours a day.
Yes.
And then I came in as Mr. Murdoch as soon as they got a costume done for me. Skip Sherman did the costumes for Titanic.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I remember Skip.
Yeah. And then Jack, you came along.
Yes, actually, I came along, and my very first role was a gift shop attendant.
Oh.
No, I did not know that.
I did.
Yeah, I started up in the front with Steven, selling tickets, and they moved me down to the gift shop. And then one night at karaoke, I don't know if you were there, Lee, at karaoke, Kelly, we were at Kelly, Mark, and Steven, and we were all hanging out. And Kelly goes, "Do you want to be Marley Brown?" And I went, "Sure."
I remember that.
Yeah, yes, I think you were there. Yeah, I think you were there. Yes. It was Riley's, right? We're at Riley's, I think.
Yes.
And yeah, was it?
I can't remember.
No, it was. I think it was. I don't remember, but I know it was a bunch of us. And and I said, "Sure," not knowing what the hell I was getting.
We're coming to you, Lori. We're coming to you.
And
then what happened after Jack came? I want to get the whole story out there. What happened after Jack came? The Mercado went into bankruptcy shortly after Jack came. Strangely enough, no,
I do that.
And we had quite the battle there. We'll talk about that. And we moved down to the Science Center. And believe it or not, I think Lee Evereitt, Steven Stanger, and myself handled every single piece of Titanic the Experience. Every single piece by hand at least twice. Would you say?
Yes, at least.
And moved it at least. We moved it once and we moved it again.
I have a question, just a real quick question, if I can. What building? Remember when we were in the Mercado, and then we moved to that building that was in the front for a very short time, a Coca-Cola building or something? What was that?
No, that was
it used to be the Hard Rock Vault, and we didn't move the whole show up there. It was just the front room that we used for the tickets, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm
The
sorry.
intent was to move the whole show up there, but we never really got around to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And ladies and gentlemen, we moved once more to where it lays now. We won't talk about that too much, but it's on International Drive, and Mr. Harris. And I want to just show you who our little benefactor was. He was a great man. He still is he's not dead. Still is a great man. If I could, there he is. It's the only picture I could find that I could download, believe it or not. Every other one was blocked, and they were all from his website. You cheap bastard. Anyways, but I love you, Mike. I love you. Mike Harris was the man who Titanic, the Titanic Ship of Dreams, that was his dream, and he made it happen. Lori McKaskill came in somewhere around that point.
I think 2011.
That sounds about right.
You originally played?
Well, I switched off between Molly Brown and Mrs. Widener, depending on who all was on that night. And then
now
it was about 6 months after I was doing the dinner show that I was trained in for tours, guided tours. And actually, I feel like I learned so much more by doing that. Jack trained me on both those, Mrs. Widener and Molly Brown, and tours. And it was amazing, just the depth of knowledge and for our characters. Now, Molly Brown, when I played her, would spout a lot more stuff than the Molly Brown probably would have ever known about the Ship of Dreams. But but it was amazing just from the tours and following the other guides and reading so much information that it just enriched your characters. I felt like a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember at the end of one of my tours, one of my guests said, "Wow, you're really a historian, aren't you?" And I was like, I am a historian, because we really all were, because we just delved into it.
Absolutely.
Beyond our parts. We wanted to know about the ship and what exactly.
And other passengers.
For those of you who perhaps never had been to the Ship of Dreams, it all started out when you bought your ticket. And you got a ticket. These are actual tickets from Titanic Ship of Dreams, the original attraction. You see here, this is Mr. Alan Martin Bagot and Mr. Mohammed Butt. Who were they? I have the faintest idea. Does anybody here know who either of those people were?
Actually, no. I don't remember ever seeing those names. I'll be honest.
I can tell you. I can tell you. Back in the day, they came through. Yeah, I can tell you they did come through.
Yeah,
and those tickets. I've got people who I have met not too long ago who actually reached in their wallet and said, "Look at this," and it's still in their wallet. It's beaten ish.
Wow,
but it's still in their wallet, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Lots of great stuff went on at Titanic the Experience, Ship of Dreams, the Experience, Titanic the Science Center. And including damn near a hernia for Lee, Stephen, and myself.
Hey, I have to leave for 2 seconds. I have a dog who is screaming at me, so I will be right back.
Okay. So let us start with. I'm going to start with Lee. I would like your favorite funny story from Titanic Ship of Dreams Experience, Titanic Science Center.
From the Mercado or the Science Center?
Either one. Or both. I don't care.
Okay. Well, I would have to say that the funny thing that I really had fun with there, and it was an ongoing thing because I just laugh about it every time, is do you remember when you would go to another room and meet up with another cast member and you had to pass the iceberg? So essentially we had this little folded up piece of paper that just said iceberg on it, and somehow, some way, you had to actually pass it to this person, whether you shake their hand, whether you put your hand around them and put it in a pocket or something like that, because whoever had the iceberg at the end of the shift bought the drinks over at the bar for the whole cast.
That was that's a fact.
That was fun.
That's a fact.
Another one I'd have to say is being one of the newer cast members from the second hiring. I came from a little place downtown, still working at Universal, but I also worked at Terra on Church Street.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Right. And so I brought my art for scaring people, and I used to crawl underneath the car.
I would just like to say, okay.
Yes. And I would crawl into that car or any other nook and cranny that I could and just wait in just as quiet as I could until the next person come along and just scare the bejeebies out of them. And it was always an actor, never a guest. I'd always get the actors and, of course, skedaddle to the next room before they could catch me.
That was fun.
It was fun. It was a ball. It was a ball.
Everything we did was in good fun.
Yes,
we were always fairly respectful to each other.
Absolutely,
Mrs. McKaskill, excuse me. Funny story, fun memory. What do you got?
Well, at the end of one of my tours, when we were in the last room, I was letting them look around at the exhibits that were in that room, the artifacts, and this lady who had been with this older gentleman the whole time, she was very wide-eyed and a little bit younger than him, and came up to me and said, "Excuse me, were you actually on the Titanic?" And I was playing Molly Brown. I said, "Well, yes, ma'am, I sure was. I was, told her my stateroom number, da 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 da." So she turns to her man and goes, "She was actually on the ship." I was like, "Oh, she means." All right, never mind.
Oh dear.
Oh,
bless her.
Oh dear.
Oh,
those people.
Yeah.
I will tell you. I am looking for something real quick here because Lee mentioned a place that he worked as well as
Mike.
Titanic.
Yeah.
And damn it, there it is.
Hey Lee, I missed it. When you told your story, did you mention the little red ball?
That I didn't mention. It was actually that's a good one too, though. So
we'll come to that.
Definitely.
Okay, that's important.
Right now, since we're in that vicinity,
okay.
I want to bring this photograph up because when I saw it, it truly touched my heart.
I love that dress.
That was the photo shoot we all did.
Yeah, remember?
And that is the one and only
Mike.
The one and only Michael Terry Acord. Or AKA, if you will, Lon Madnight.
Yep.
Also known as Deadbeat.
Yes, Deadbeat as well.
He was Deadbeat
on Church Street.
Yeah.
Mike Acord played a one, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the character's name, and I should be able to, and I can't.
Irishman, the Irishman.
Yes, it was that outfit.
Yep.
Oh my God, we're terrible.
It'll pop in my brain at 4 a.m.
He literally knew. Well, please tell us at that point.
I will.
Knew everybody. He knew everything about that man.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
One of those photo shoot shots.
That's me as captain. Holy crap.
Exactly. That's
It is. Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah, it is.
It is.
We've got that.
Jimmy and oh my gosh.
We have so many interesting. So many wonderful memories of that place. That's you again, I think, Lee.
Yeah. At the top. Yeah, you're right up there, next to me. Yep.
Yeah, that's the whole gang there.
Hey guys. Okay. Look at the lovely lady standing next to Brandon, Miss Tara.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tara is another one that is missed.
Yes.
We lost Tara? Really? Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, I did not know
Brett
that.
Carson.
Tomorrow, you mean?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow,
yeah.
Yes.
There's Brett Carson and Brandon Watford.
And Jan and
my
Scott.
God, there's George Widener.
Yeah.
Yes.
Patty Accorso. Who else is up there? That's actually Mike Acord next to you, Lee. I'm down on the other side. And next to him
That's right. You are. My apologies. Yes.
Next to him is Carlo.
No, that's not Carlo.
Carlo.
I don't
Carlo
know
and
who the
Laura,
sailor is.
With Laura Tyler there.
With Laura. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Tyler. And there's who is that
Steve,
sailor? I can't remember his name.
And then Steven, or the guy without the far right. He actually worked at Universal with me for a while, and I can't remember his name.
And Steven Stanger, of course.
Yeah, he was playing Mr. Ismay that night.
Yes, he was. And Mick Stormer was Colonel Archibald Gracie.
Yes.
Yep. And Jen.
As well as Mr. Christmas.
Yes.
Jen Bonner was, I haven't the faintest idea. And there's somebody I don't remember. And then there's Jac Ledoux.
Yep.
And Jen.
Patty Corso.
Yeah.
Jen Bonner, right?
And Kelly.
Yep, and Kelly.
And and Kelly. And I have no idea what Kelly was playing.
Gosh, I couldn't even remember who she was playing that night. I don't know.
It was, I know, and we switched off so often.
Yeah. Well, it was so cool at that time because everybody had anywhere from 8 to 13 characters under their belt at any time.
Yeah.
We had so many amazing performers.
Wow.
There's Tatiana Weiss, who sadly we're missing her, and and there's
Kimberly?
Jack again, Brandon and Jimmy Trabowski.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
Jim Trabowski. Oh my goodness.
And this girl, I don't remember her name.
That's Kim.
That's Kim. Kim.
That's right. And this was the irritating guy who was in the gift shop.
Right. That's
Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah.
And that. Yeah.
Wow.
So we had some amazing people. Now, Jack, while you were out, we all told an amusing story. Can you tell us an amusing story from Titanic?
How many hours do you have? Amusing. It's funny. They're really. It's not really a funny story, but I think it's one of the ones that stayed with me the most. Can I do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. It was. Do you remember when Jamie's when her husband, her husband now, when he wanted to propose on the staircase? Do you remember that?
Yes,
vaguely.
Yeah. And
I'm glad you did.
All I can remember, and I just remember, it is sort of funny. And I just remember her family. We snuck her family in, and they were hiding around the corners, and they were like, "We want to go in. We want to go in." And it was my job to tell them, "Shut up! Shut up! He's going to hear you. Shut up!" And because they were so. I'm like, I know you're excited. Shut up. And then she was telling her, her group, which started to fill up with her family and friends, and it kind of freaked her out. And she was standing at the top of the staircase, and just a couple steps down, and he came down, and he was in the kilt.
Mm-hmm.
He came down, he was in the kilt, and everybody's looking up, and she's going. And she thought she had smut on her face or something. And she's going like this and trying to she thought her bra strap was showing. She's trying to fix herself. And it was him standing behind her. And the first thing is she turned around and finally everybody was like, "Look behind you." And she went, "Oh shit."
Yeah, we were a silly bunch. We were a silly bunch.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, it was funny about
Laurie.
Yeah. It was funny about the wedding thing because I forgot his name. I think his name was Keith, her husband. And he came to me and he goes, "Hey Lee, I have a favor and a request." I'm like, "What? What's up?" He goes, I know that you asked your wife to marry her on the staircase and you freaked her out. I want to do the same thing. Is that okay?" Like, yes, as long as I could be a part of it.
Yeah.
He wanted to ask your wife to marry him on the staircase. That would have freaked her out.
Oh yeah, no. He asked me that about.
I know.
No, he wanted to ask Lee to marry him.
I'd be like, oh,
are they still together? Are they still together?
No, unfortunately, they separated and she's married to a different person. But as I understand, they're still friends. So
yeah.
But
well,
we had a ton. Oh, wait.
They were both good.
You guys remember? Do you remember Lori? I think you were there that night. Do you remember at the dinner show the Irish wedding on the staircase. Do you remember that? And she was so drunk she fell down the stairs. The bride. Remember that?
No, but I went.
What I remember distinctly about that particular one was they paid me $200 to photograph that son of a bitch.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. She was so drunk she fell down the stairs.
Oh my God. Tons of photos.
Wow.
And laughed and laughed and laughed. They had a wonderful time.
Yeah, it was an amazing night. It was an amazing night.
It was.
Titanic. We got a question, I think. Oh dear. Here's a question.
Oh
Who
my.
was the longest visiting guest to the show and dinner? Visiting guests.
Maybe Frank? Because he came quite often.
Frank was there a lot. Goldsmith.
Frank Goldsmith.
Yeah, Frank Goldsmith. I would say Frank Goldsmith because he was there because it was Denise that brought him way back when Crystal was just a knee high.
Yep.
And then he kept coming and showing up all the time, just throughout the years. So I would say Frank Goldsmith.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Frank Goldsmith has a Titanic connection, a very big Titanic connection.
Yes.
Lee, would you expound on that? Would you? Do you remember?
Well, I do remember that his father was on the ship, and he actually he can't remember which life. Oh, I do remember. It was collapsible lifeboat B that he was in. We actually had a photograph of it at the near the end of the show as you would come around the corner where using the newest show.
Indeed, we did. Yes. Oh my gosh.
The collapsible was right because I remember hanging it there so we could tell that story. And when he showed up after we opened, I brought him around and specifically showed him that, and he pointed right to it because in the picture there's a small little X. And in the one that he has, and he had it with him, and he's like, "Yep, my dad's right there." So, ta-da!
Yeah.
Whew, I had to dust off the cobwebs.
I remember that little X. Remember that.
I had the experience. Every now and again, you had experts come in. Remember the experts, Lee? Remember the expert who had a book about this thick and was telling us all about the fact that there were no gunshots on the Titanic. There were none. I will bet my last dollar on it. And it just so happened that at the Mercado, we had a letter written by Ernst Ulrich Pearson.
Mm-hmm.
And that letter stated that a man was shot dead.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes.
Well, we also heard the same thing from Lighttoller's family too.
Yes.
Indeed.
They said
but I mean, we had proof positive right there in that exhibit.
Yep.
And that man was yelling at us. You remember this?
Oh yeah.
He was yelling at us, and I said, "Look, I can prove it. Come with me." And I went, "Here, right from the horse's mouth."
Yep.
He didn't know what a shitter wind his watch. His big book of facts, this thick, that he had with him, just went down to nothing.
Yep.
What an asshole!
Oh yeah. I always one thing that I really felt horrible when I worked there when I was doing more of the curating back in the day, and I was only jumping on the floor every so often. I would have people come in and they would set up an appointment to show me artifacts that they said, "Oh, my great grandmother gave me this, and it's actually real and everything." And I had one guy that came in and he was so preaching that this Marconi was the real deal. And I finally said, "Sir, you need to come with me for a moment." And I walked him around to where the iceberg was. And if you remember the display that had the
there they were. Yeah.
Remember that? I said, "There's the copy of the one you have, and it's the same thing, sir." I felt so bad because he started bawling. And he's like, "My grandmother lied to me." I said, "Well, she may not have known exactly what she had." And trying to do that.
Probably
never fun.
But how about this one? I'll never forget this as long as I live. I was in the gift shop.
Oh dear.
At the old Mercado building. And this is when we all decide, okay, now everybody's going to rotate through the gift shop and every other freaking thing. Oh, good.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, somebody else. Yes.
Yeah. And this guy comes. Mike happened to be there that day. Thank God to this day. But I think he would have driven in for this. this guy comes in and says, I got something in the trunk of my car that I think you guys are going to want to buy. And I said, really? Because I've heard this. He says, yep, I've got a deck chair that was on the Titanic and it washed up on shore. And I said, don't tell me anything else. I know someone who can take a look at this. I called upstairs and I said, Mike, you're not going to believe this shit. And I told him what was in the gift shop. Mike came down, looked at it. His eyes got as big as 2 frying pans, I think, as I recall. Were you there for this, Lee?
I was there.
Yep. And they went upstairs, and I don't know what deal they made to this day, but a couple weeks later, that sucker replaced the replica that we had in there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because Mike I was in working, and he called me. I'll never forget. He brought me up because I need you to come up and authenticate something really quick. And I came up and I looked right at that chair. Yeah, because he was like, he's like, I think it's real. And I looked at it, I said, well, yeah. I said it has the 2 definite markings on it. 1, it's got the wicker seat. 2, it does not have the back brace. Because if it had the back brace, it had the wooden seat. I said, that's as real as you can get. So
that's one of the ones that was washed up on the shore up in I want to say Cape Cod, Nantucket, was it?
Nantucket.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that story. Yeah. And later and that was the one that afterwards people swore they saw a ghost sitting in. Remember?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we'll come to that. Lori, let's come back to you because you got to have some more stuff here.
I know she had experts getting her face.
I shared with you earlier, Joe, what had first got me interested in Titanic.
I'm sorry?
Remember I shared with you earlier what had first got me interested in Titanic at all.
Yes, that you did, as a matter of fact. And hold on one second. I have to, here it is. I guess I can't. Okay. Let me go back over here. Okay. Talk to us about that particular, because I think that is please tell me I did that. That is a very heartwarming story, if you will, of stuff that, where the hell is it?
Well, while you're looking for that, hey, kitty cat, how you doing?
Was it me?
Tell us about that, Lori, please.
Yes, please, Laura.
Well, when I worked at Epcot Center, then Epcot, I worked for the United Technologies Corporation. And they had a VIP lounge and conference center at the Living Seas Pavilion. And one day, Dr. Robert Ballard came in.
Continue.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. Hold on.
Well, so he was very kind and very sweet to all of us on the staff. And he actually sat in the conference center. There were big observation windows that looked into the tank, which was then the U.S.'s largest saltwater tank. And he sat in the window and he wrote his book while he sat in the window. And then when he actually published the book, he put in, I can't remember if it was the dedication. I don't think it was the dedication. I think it was the acknowledgments. He put all about the staff that was there at the time in the acknowledgments of the book. And this is when I had a different last name. So it says Lori Haynes, not Lori McKaskill. But the picture that I have, the picture that I have of Dr. Ballard is with someone who 4 years later I would marry.
Oh my God, Jim, really?
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
You married that guy?
And that was like, what was that, 85?
Wow.
Yeah, 84, 85. I can't.
You know, it's so funny
but
because
anyway, that was exciting.
Again,
that's cool.
First got interested in Titanic.
Every day, I kind of play a game with myself, so to speak. Not the Spider-Man game, Lee.
Spider-Man.
I couldn't resist. I could not resist. That's just for me and Lee.
Yes.
Thank God.
Oh, God. I adore that guy. I want you to know I really love you, buddy. I miss you. Anyways, I I play a game. How many times will I hear the word Titanic in a given day?
Oh my God.
And you know, today in particular, strangely enough, and oddly enough, the name Ballard, I heard the word Titanic 17 times today.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. One time it was, they're going to Titanic them barges right down, referring to barges that apparently are carrying billboards across back and forth at the shore, at our seashores right now, our beaches.
Yeah.
And Ballard came up any number of times today. Strangely, oddly enough, today of all days. And I actually ran across Titanic, a lot of Titanic crap all over the place. I shouldn't say the crap, but that's it. And by the way, there's another Margaret Brown here, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Kat, Katrina Johnson Akers is here.
Yep.
How about that? Hi, Kat. So we're getting old home week in here tonight.
I know. I love it.
Now, I have to come back to first. I want to talk about spooky stuff. Lori, did you experience anything spooky at Titanic?
You know, I used to hear these footsteps a lot. But then I think I realized that it was part of the track.
That would have been part of the track.
But for the longest time.
Was it in the veranda?
I didn't know that.
It could have been. I kind of felt like it was where the propeller was.
Yeah, there was actually steps to that track too.
And all of a sudden I just hear these footsteps. But then I kept hearing them like at the same point.
Yep.
The day finally went, okay, that must be on a track. But still, when you were that last
I can attain it's from the track.
I know you can.
You know, I got to tell you, I want you, when you talk about that veranda, when we put that back together the third time, Jesus Christ.
Right? Just the third time. The staircase 3 times is enough.
Yeah. It was a veritable puzzle. I will never forget that as long as I live. Putting that thing back together. I'll never forget raising the dome up the last time. I wasn't there for the Science Center one because I think I was pulling my hair out at that point.
Hey, Joe, let Lori finish. What were you going to say, Lori?
I'm sorry, Lori,
you were
go
the
ahead.
last person?
Oh, at the end of the night, they would, the last person, they wanted you to go to every room to make sure there wasn't a guest hiding in there or something. And that always kind of freaked me out because you were literally the only one in the building at that point because everybody else had gone upstairs. So you were basically on the first level, at on International Drive location by yourself and just going from room to room. And just
Which was a big room, was a big place.
Yeah.
It was spooky to me but I liked it. It was a good spooky. It was like,
it was
Did
always
you ever see anything? Did you ever see anything, Lori, that you're aware of, that you recall?
I don't think so.
Or
I know
even
you all must have. You all used to do the ghost tours, and once you left, no one, I don't think, ever did the ghost tours again. I don't think anyone ever knew all the backstory of all this stuff like you guys did.
Yeah.
When we were in Mercado, we actually jumped in with another company, and we did for Halloween. It was a week run. It's called Titanic Ship of Screams.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, I still have one of the little tokens that they gave out to get into the houses and everything.
Yep. Oh, God, we got some very, very strange people because they were not happy. A lot of them, though, said that they preferred ours because it was more real.
Yeah, because everything that I talked to said that ours was the best house because it wasn't just a bunch of garbage. It was all based on reality. We have photographs, we had historical evidence, all the good stuff, and so many people. Because I remember I was out front getting the people in and everything, and I would do the first 2 rooms, and they come all the way back around because I would tell them this is based on reality. We're not going to jump out and scare you. We're going to tell you what happened. And when they came around the side, they would look at me like, yeah, we scared them a little bit. But but they would come around like, yours was the scariest by far. They're just like, you had everybody in there just had me by like the scruff of the neck going, this is real. And it was amazing. It was because we changed the track. A lot of it I went through. We changed a bunch of the tracks. So I'd give it a more spooky feeling. But those stories were not only just stories from history, but things that had happened in the building. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
So,
it was really cool.
Lee, it's my understanding that you experienced something very strange, possibly
Allegedly.
with a little red ball in a hand.
Do tell.
You want to tell this one, Jack?
No, I want you to tell it.
Okay. Well, it's a little fuzzy in the back of my head with everything.
Oh, bull pucky.
Well, when we get to an age, Lee, that does happen. I know.
That's true, because I've yes, very true. Well, I was in one of the rooms in the Mercado, and
Mercado.
If I am correct, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think of all the times I was in there, I was coming in from departure, going into the main life on board.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready, and it was a night I was working in there. I'm not sure if we were doing a ghost tour or I was working afterwards, or because it wasn't during Ship of Screams, I don't think.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right. It was a regular night, because I used to work late at night in there, painting, doing all that kind of stuff or whatever. Yeah. And so I came around that corner, and with that time we had a huge mannequin that had the captain's jacket there, and some other pieces that were in there. And I had stopped, because I always stopped and looked at the captain and make sure someone hadn't bumped into the case or anything. And out of the corner of my eye, I see, and I thought it was the only one, and I still to this day think I was the only one in the building, because we had shut down and everybody had gone by, and I was going back in. This little red ball rolled from what would have been on the other side of the doors, would have been the first class stateroom, and just rolled out into the open doorway. And I saw it. Of course, my brain's like, you're the last one in the building. And all of a sudden, I see this hand just shoot out, grab the ball. And of course, that took me back like, oh, someone is screwing with me. And I took 3 steps forward and looked to the right. Nobody. I was watching the door, because those 2 doors, it doesn't matter if you held them shut or whatever, if we shot through, you couldn't get through without them bumping and making noise.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was like, someone's in the stateroom. So I looked in the stateroom, looked on both sides, like nobody's there. But I just got real quiet and just listened, because if I could hear people walking if they started shooting through the other doors. Nothing.
Catherine.
Absolutely nothing. So I walked the rest of the exhibit all the way back around, went back up the ramp, went back into because I'm looking for anybody. Nobody. Not a soul in the building. So I decided to go home that night.
Yeah.
But there's another night that's something similar. Gosh, I'm getting like the EBs.
Good.
It was Catherine. It was Catherine. You know it was Catherine.
Well, the thing with Catherine, she was always everywhere. And I tell you, the last time that I worked at where the new exhibit is, I walked in, and Raggedy Ann had always been sitting on the shelf. It was gone. And I asked them, oh, okay.
No. Sometimes we moved it, but sometimes we
not
didn't.
necessarily.
This time, no. I'm talking about, I asked where it was, and the new owners they had come in, took it, and got rid of it. And they were talking about weird things happening in the building, and I'm like, well, you did it yourself.
That was after one of us left, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Namely me.
There was a lot of Catherine moved, but she did not stay in the new place.
So,
right.
I will not. Jack, can I do one?
Please, yes.
Okay. Jack and I took fiendish, wonderful delight in doing the ghost tour together. Jack did a lot of the work because I had to go up and close up at the same time, because at that time the company was too freaking cheap to have somebody else do it. Yeah. And it wasn't Mike Harris. Anyways,
moving on.
Anyway, let's get away from that. So I would go up, and Jack would, and I would come back, and roundabout staircase, give or take, right? and start back in, and we do the whole thing. And we got to what is affectionately known as the big piece.
Okay. Little big piece.
Little Big Piece.
If you don't know Little Big, was yes, because there was a bigger Big Piece. I don't want
to. It's still at the Luxor right now in Vegas.
Yeah, I saw it. It was awesome.
Well, folks, I can tell you, this is the Little Big Piece. I don't want to see the big piece, nor do I want to know how the hell they move it. Okay, this was a big ass chunk of Titanic. Okay,
that's why I don't have any hair from when we brought it in the building.
I remember that. It was huge. It was huge. Now, no one. Obviously, the guests could not get behind the ropes to touch it. I can tell you right now, I touched it many times. And you too, yeah. Jack, and I'm sure.
I never touched it. I follow rules.
Well, we would go behind there, and now, everything that when I was doing the ghost tour, everything that I did was I'm a magician, all right? And I can make shit happen, okay?
We did a couple things.
I can make shit happen.
We did a couple of effects. We did. Yes. Let's be real.
There were a couple of things that were manufactured to make it feel like they were getting their $30 where they're really charged.
Yeah,
But anyways, we would do a little test at the big piece, little big piece, excuse me. And we lay a little flashlight down there, Jack?
Yeah.
And hand to God, folks, everybody watching who's ever seen this, I did not.
He didn't.
In any way, shape, or form gimmick this flashlight.
Nope.
I did not in any way, shape, or form gimmick anything at this point. I laid it down, and we talked to whatever might be there in the building. And there was stuff in that building. I'm sorry.
Heck yes.
Well, all three of them. Well, maybe not the Science Center, because I wouldn't.
Not Science Center, but Mercado in that one, most definitely.
Yeah. And that flashlight turned on.
Yeah.
Hand to God. That flashlight turned on. Not only to turn on, it moved. No one was shitting their pants more than Joe was, okay? Freaked me the hell out, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It really did. It was amazing.
I got one other little one that was funny in the new, not funny, but in the newest building. I used to I'd lock the place up and everything, and I'd be the only one in there. And I would hear things. I would hear, like you were saying, Laura, that your steps and everything. Well, I had the audio system off. I had things turned off. So what I would do is I would go, if you ever, I know Joe and Jack knew where it was, but if you went up the staircase and go to the right-hand side, there's that open hole. And you can go through the hole, far to the left-hand side. Now you are above the show. I was almost not going to my chair. Above the whole show. And I would sit there by myself listening. And you hear from different rooms.
Jack, you there? Anybody still
there? Yeah.
We're here.
Not everybody? Okay.
We're here.
Yep. But I would get up there.
Bradley, you're a little pixelated, but you're still here.
Yep. And I would literally hear whispers, steps, groan, kind of like the twisting of a piece of steel. And I'd stand there and I would wait until it stopped, because I knew that when it stopped, I could actually do work without feeling the heaviness of the building. So yeah.
Do you remember when they were putting in the bridge and there was that space?
Oh yeah.
I remember the workers would not go into that space because they said too many things were there. There was something there, and they would not go in there.
Yeah. Because that's where the video was supposed to go. We're supposed to put a full projection video there with LED, but of course Mike never, we didn't have the money to do it. And I remember the workers going, "We're not going back there. Nope, there's something in there."
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, someone has joined us a little late, but remember something from Titanic the Experience.
Oh my God.
Schneider asked this. Well, you know what? Yes, Ron, and everyone else, there was a haunted shovel incident. I will tell you now, and Lee, you will back me up on this 100%. I know you will. In the stateroom there was a set of brass fireplace implements.
Cool. Yeah.
And at any given time throughout the day, if you looked at the shovel, that shovel was moving.
Swing.
Always. Not just once in a while, always.
Always.
Yes, always swinging. Yeah.
There may even be a video of this.
I used it on the ghost tour.
So we were talking, and then one day, the strangest thing happened. That shovel, I was like, what the hell happened to the shovel? Where's the shovel? And I'm like, what the fuck happened to the shovel? So I'm going home that night, and I get out of my car, and I go into the back of the car, and there's this freaking shovel in the back of my car. Freaked me the hell out. And that was due to who? That right there.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron.
That was awesome, Ron.
But
now, right
now,
there.
There he is. But on the other side of that, okay, there were things that happened, but we also did a few things. Like, who was it that I don't remember who was doing the tour. I don't remember if it was maybe Kim or I don't remember. But Lori, I think you were there when this was going on. And Mark and Joe, was it you that got into the car and put and prayed up and started shaking it? It was Mark. And
I remember hearing about this.
And the car was shaking.
I'll go along with that.
Yeah.
Yes. And you and Steven got on the other side on the deck when poor Jamie had to close up.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Tell them what you did. Tell them what you did. You mean
getting in there. That area.
Or when we get on the other side, we get on the other side of the windows in the shipyard and pretend that there is glass, and we're like, hey, can't hear you, and then you stick your head out of one square and go, I can't hear you.
I really can't hear you now. My earphone.
Oh my God. No. I'm talking about the day, because Jamie told me about this. I'm talking about the night you guys were there, and because Steven said it was the two of you. And as he was coming across, because he hated going onto the deck, you both took your hands and went.
Oh my God!
He was so mad at you guys.
What's up?
We had some of the best, literally the best performers in Orlando, present company included.
Yeah.
At Titanic the Experience. Everybody get out of the car,
yeah.
He got me on the deck one team. Steven and I used to always get this stuff. And he would be on the other side of the deck, and I'm trying to be all serious and everything and whatnot, and he'd go rowing by. He's like, "Hi, Jimmy, get in quick!"
But we had, literally, Ron
so much
Schneider.
fun.
We had Michael. Remember Michael Walters, guys?
Yes.
Michael Walters played a third-class character. Michael did a great tour. People loved this tour because he was a little nuts. And I will never forget. I was out on the deck doing my shtick, as it were, and if I died in the story, I was adamant. If I died in the story, I never went past the deck. I just felt as though, at least in the old exhibit, the new exhibit you kind of had to, because there was more there. But in the old exhibit, you could do that, and I always felt that was kind of appropriate. Anyways, I was finishing up, and Michael Walters, you son of a bitch, if you're watching this, you bastard, was behind the wall on the deck, reached his hand, slapped it onto the rail, climbed up over and said, 10 third-class accommodations, and stomped out of the room.
Oh God, we were terrible people.
Well, how do you come back from that?
You don't.
You don't.
Now, before we're getting there, but if I didn't touch on this, I would be so remiss. In the waning years, sadly, of this guy, right here owning this amazing attraction that we all got to play in. He literally gave us a playground. He really did. He really did. In a rare opportunity to do what we did. Mike Harris, G. Michael Harris, Jerry, and he'd be pissed if he heard me say that. Would he not?
Yes.
The skipper staged and created and did a dive to Titanic. Did he not?
Yeah, and Lee went with him.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, if you look right here, this here is, first off, it's Curly, Larry, and Mo who worked at the Titanic Experience. That's Dave Christensen, Lee Evereitt, and, oh, shit.
Elliot Crane.
Elliot Crane.
Elliot,
and that gentleman there in between them is?
Anatoly Skabelovich.
Indeed. I didn't say that because I would have fucked up the name. And behind them is one of the mirrors, I'm assuming, yes?
It's Mirror 1. We actually,
Mirror 1?
It was just before our dive, and I was in that particular mirror. Yep.
Yeah. And this is Lee and Dave Christensen. Both still, and I consider you a dear friend, Lee. I want you to know that. I truly do. And I still consider Dave Christensen a good friend. You guys went to Titanic, and some of the things you saw, I'm going to bring up a couple of pictures, Lee, because I'm fairly certain you saw these things. And tell us.
Oh, I tell you, man, I tell you, it was crazy. It's the craziest thing ever. I'm getting like chills, and excuse me for this, but when we got down to depth, Zhenya was our pilot, and I was the co-pilot because I was on the right-hand side. And as you got down to depth, you just felt this darkness that came over the top of you when they first opened up the lights. And the first thing when you come up and the bow of the mirror comes up just enough, you just see this wall of steel just rising above you. And then as we were coming up, the first thing I saw was the port side anchor, and it was the first photo that I took because I didn't get my camera up in time because I couldn't move. And then we got that shot, and then Zhenya just asked us, where do you want to go? And we just circumnavigated the entire bow. There was a few shots that I got specifically for a couple people. One of them was one of the cabins on the A deck, because their character was in that cabin. And so I took pictures of that. We ended up, of course, circumnavigating the stern. Probably one of the funniest moments I had down there is when, just before we dove, we were talking to Zhenya and, of course, Mike and Dave, and they said, well, when we go to the stern, you got to be careful, because when you go up underneath the fantail there, you've got maybe a couple inches above mirror and below mirror, and you can get hung up if you're trying to see the screws. And so we're going around the bow, and Dave's like, no, we can't go screws, we can't do it. I'm too scared. And I looked at him and I said, dude, you're 6,000 pounds per square inches on the 2.5 miles down. Do you really think there's more danger? Come on, bro. So we come around the other side, and Zhenya leans over, and it's a really bad Russian accent, but in his Russian accent, he whispers, Zuzi, you want to see screws? And of course I was like, yes. So we get up under the fantail, we get right to it, we get the pictures of the port side screw, and just as he pulls to a stop, Dave's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We can see the yeah, of course he said propellers, but we can see the propellers. And I looked at him and I said, Dave, we're under the fantail. And then he just looked at me and goes, you son of a bitch, why did you say that?
Did you see this? Wow.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I saw the ship's kilometer. All the way around it. You can even see, that's a great picture, because you could see the back wall there is actually the deck, or the officers' quarters. And then to the far right of that last plaque you can see there is where we put the plaque for Titanic the Experience, and also for Guinness World Records for Mike Harris's youngest at the time, Sebastian.
Sebastian Harris was the youngest diver.
Yes.
And then what about this?
Oh, yeah, I saw quite a few of those, actually, because you could still see the glass inside the portholes. And, of course, those particular portholes had the frame that would swing on a pivot, and you could see where the way it had turned, how the water had rushed back out and possibly pulled it back. There's a couple of different theories, but it's crazy because the glass in there is like almost 2 inches thick. And when you get up on it, you see how it's cracked, and you see everything on the side. You can even at times still see the rivets. Of course, all of the rusticles coming down, as Bob Ballard coined it. He coined the name rusticles, and essentially, the tears of Titanic. So, yeah, I saw quite a few of those.
Wow. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we could go for a couple of hours on this subject. And I'm going to say this again, and I get a little. I have to be honest. I love this guy.
Yeah, he's a little kooky, he's a good guy. I'm trying to
part Indiana Jones, part. He's just a hell of a guy. And he's been down the Titanic any number of times. And I would have had him on tonight, but tonight is about the actors, and about the show. But I would have been remiss if I hadn't mentioned you going to Titanic, Lee, which was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But wow. One fun thing, if you were talking about you're adding a show in, I always got such a smile from Mr. Acord. Because he'd be in the dive room and I would come walking through there working on something or whatever. And even if I tried to walk very quickly because there was another tour and I had to go through the secret side door there, he'd stop me dead in my tracks and make me tell the story.
You're damn straight he did.
Absolutely, he stopped me. There's like maybe once I nearly made it out the room, but I was holding lights and
Kelly.
everything.
The name of the character was Kelly. That was his last name.
James Kelly. James Kelly.
That's it.
Kelly. That's it. You got it.
For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, we all, of course, know exactly who we're talking about. We're talking, and just for kicks, I want to throw this up there real quick.
Oh, God.
The most embarrassing picture in history. Molly Brown, Captain Smith, and some big gopher. I don't even know.
At public.
And Mike would have laughed his ass off. Mike Acord, ladies and gentlemen, who was a big part of Titanic right to his very last days.
Yeah.
We lost Mike a few years ago, sadly. And I don't know if his dear wife, is watching, or any of his family are. But if you are, I want you all to know that I love that guy.
Yeah.
Would have given him the shirt off my back at any given time. And you know what? Mike would have given it to us as well.
He did.
What a great guy.
Lori.
Oh,
Lori.
I wanted to say something about Mike. I hope I don't cry. Because it's very sentimental. But a couple of years ago, I was on a ship cruise, not Titanic, but and we stopped at Halifax, and I got a dozen flowers at the Publix, whatever they had there, their grocery store.
Did you just say Publix? The Publix in
Halifax? The grocery store in Halifax, their supermarket. And I took it to the graveyard where the Titanic victims were, many of them are buried. And what was so funny is, people are just looking at the tombstones, and I'm walking around with my flowers, and every time I recognize someone's gravesite that either one of you all portrayed or
you did,
or I did, or whatever, I would lay a flower on. So people were like, watch me, and I just started to stop. I'm laying flowers on, and they're just looking, thinking, what's wrong with this? And so when I got to Mr. Gotti's grave, which Mike did the best Mr. Gotti, I think.
Yes.
He was so funny. The restaurant.
He's a brilliant Gotti.
Restaurateur, Mr. Gotti.
He was a brilliant everything.
Yes.
I put a picture there, and and made sure I took a picture of it to be able to send to his wife and to some people.
Wow.
But, you know, just he was such a sweet soul. I used to give him rides sometimes because I'd go out and it'd be raining and he'd be standing there across the street waiting for the bus. And I'm like, get in. And he's like, you don't live anywhere near me. I don't care. Just get in. And he was just
Same thing.
he had that gruff exterior, but he had a heart of gold. And he
Oh
was
my God. He
such
would
a
give me
sweet
the
guy.
shirt off his back. You know, one time he had to go out to do a thing. He was trying to get something going with Lon Mad Night. He didn't have a car at the time. And we had 2 cars. Chris and I had 2 cars. I had Chris's car, my car, and I said, Mike, take my car. I had to almost beat the crap out of him to do it. But for that guy,
and his knowledge was amazing too.
Oh yeah, he knew
everything. If I said something wrong, he wouldn't stop me and say it, but he would tell me later. So he fine-tuned my tour to pieces where it was perfect, and I trusted him. I trusted any of you all with information, but
I'll tell you what,
you're full. You walk by. I would
of all people, Mike Acord. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm as I am of each and every, and I want to tell you right now, and I mean this sincerely, as I am of each and every one of you, Jack and Lori, your dear Lee, I'm proud to know all of you. I'm
Goes
proud
both ways, brother.
Friend.
Yep.
I am proud to call you friend. I am proud to call you co-performer. I adore each and every one of you. And that's why you're here tonight.
Something. I mean, we've been talking about the funny things, and we had so much fun. I mean, like, right, Laura, during the dinner show, we would have these little asides and everything, but we had so much fun. But I think a lot of it too was you were moved by the stories of the people, number one. But when the guests came in and you knew you touched them, you knew you moved them, you saw them really getting into it, and they would come up and they would, especially those who would come back over and over and over and over, and they would say, it's never the same, but it's always the same. And you know that somehow you brought to life a very, very beautiful story, really. Some beautiful people, wonderful stories. And I think that's why we all got pulled into it. We the heart of it. Yeah. Not the heart of it. But the heart of it, I think what pulled us all in and made it work, I think.
Yep.
As we said in the beginning, it was, my God, it was a labor. Yeah, we got paid. Yeah, we did.
Mostly.
And and it cost some of us money. I'm not going to get into that. But it was a labor of love. There's something about Titanic that touches everyone. And as they say, take her to sea, Mr. Murdoch.
Yeah.
Let's
and we're only a week ahead. We're only 1 week before the anniversary.
And the only reason we're a week ahead is because we got Wanzi next week, and I couldn't get him any other week.
There you go.
But that's okay. Guys, Lori, Lee, Jack is with me every week, as you might know. If you haven't watched the shows, please, folks, come on out and watch them. Get with us. Watch the old shows. They're great stuff. Lori and Lee, I absolutely adore both of you. You know that. I hope you know that. If you don't know that, it's true. Thank you for being with us tonight. What a joy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take care, kids. Oh, my God. I don't believe I did that yet.
Slanche to you, my friend.
Slanche. One more, guys.
Slanche va!
Well done.
Oh, hey, Lee. Real quick. Hey, Lee.
Yes.
Do you remember the little cups?
You want me to get one to show you?
Huh?
Want me to get one to show you?
Yeah, mine is in a box. We all had remember Remember, Joe? We had
Yeah.
because mine is in a box.
If it wasn't 200 feet away, I would bring it in. Mine
the box, and we had the. And
my boss went to Titanic, and all I got was this lousy cup. That's what mine said. It still does.
Where did they come from?
For that,
they were paper cups.
Lori, they went down the Titanic. If you take a styrofoam cup, okay, it's going to sound really wild, and you take it down that many feet into the ocean, and there's a bag on the front of the mirror, okay, where they would normally collect stuff. But they put a bag on the front of the mirror, and they put all these styrofoam cups in it. And Mike Harris, there it is. Mike Harris gave us each a cup to write whatever the hell we wanted on it. Yep. And it said Titanic dive on it. There's another one. And I wrote on mine, my boss went to Titanic, and all I got was this lousy cup. And what happens is the cup shrinks down. Lee, how far down?
It's at 6,000 pounds per square inch. This cup was a grande, so it was about that tall to there. This one was a regular size, and it's smaller now than a shot glass. Yeah,
that's what I have, and it's in a box.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on a plastic. It's not. This is the magic. I
have do to your bird?
Studio back here with all the magic in it.
Probably it would squish you. You would like.
Oh yeah. If say one of the mirrors were to have a leak or something, it would be. If you ever seen the movie The Abyss, like in the movie The Abyss, just it would literally happen in less than a 0.000 second.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is one of the reasons Joe would never do this. They would say, "Okay, Joe, get into something." I'd say, "Hey, fuck you." I don't give it. And Mike used to tell me, "Oh yeah, Joe, we just give you a shot. Good night, Joe." And you go down. I said, "Yeah," and then you'd all be fucking dead because we'd never come back up because I'd kill you when I woke up. No way. That's you gotta lay down flat on your belly and watch it. No, 5 hours. Fuck that. No, excuse me.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I remember those cups. I had to say something.
That's so cool.
Well, we actually had a bunch of those in the gift shop at one point. I've got one or two here, I think, still.
And I got we had the cards too that we had stamped and everything, and took those with us. Yeah, we ended up. It was kind of cool because when we were down, I had become really good friends with Genia Chernay. He was the pilot because he rides motorcycles, and so do I. And so he's like, "Well, Lee, since this, since you're a technician, because I got into the sub ahead of time, a couple days, learned stuff. And it's great. We ended up staying on the bottom for 7 hours. It was the longest dive of all of them.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding, it takes hey, Frank Ciano. It takes quite some time to get down there. Like, how long?
It's 2 hours to get from surface to the Titanic, and then
once you're down there, okay, you're down there. You spend however long you be down there. Now come back up.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Jack.
How long
to 10 hours to get back?
Oh, no, it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours down and 2 hours back up.
It's only 2 hours? I thought it took because you had to decompress.
No, because it's a titanium sphere, and so it's at 1 atmosphere that you're in. You don't have to decompress inside of it.
Right.
Okay, cool.
So then you're down there for however long you're down there.
Right. Well, the thing with Genia, it was cool because normally they get down, you go down in 2 hours, you stay on the bottom for 4, and then you go back up for 2. Well, mine and Dave's, it was great because I asked Genia when we got down there, I said, "About how long do you think this dive will be for our time on the ocean floor?" And it was great. He goes, "Well, Lee, since you're a technician and you become good friend of mine, we stay till batteries need charge." And so we were on the bottom for 7.5 hours.
They're going to tell me that you stay till batteries need charge. And then when they don't need charge, we fuck.
That's right.
No!
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
Won't even go in a tunnel.
Exactly.
We're at the tail end, but you know what? There's somebody here who wants to say hi, and I do want to say hi. We're a little bit over, but it's okay. Can we say hi to the one and only Patty Accorso?
Patty!
Hi, guys! You guys are so
ladies and gentlemen, as always, I just want to say this. having been a manager at Titanic the Experience, I would like to say, as always, ladies and gentlemen, the late Patty Corso.
Yeah, as always. I was always coming from another gig or something. It's so funny. That's hilarious. No, and of course, I'm coming from another gig from Disney, usually, right? And that's exactly right. I was listening to you guys in the car, and I was like, "Oh, I remember that. I have so many stories." But I want to just show. I don't know if any of you guys.
Yes, we just did
There it is. Okay, listen.
I heard you talking about the stories. And mine actually is all about Charlotte Cardeza, I think.
You're doing Charlotte this time.
I don't know if you can read that.
You also played Eleanor Widener.
I loved it.
Bloody well kept me alive sometimes during that show. When I was, they had me there 500 hours. Remember that, Lee?
Yeah.
Remember that crazy shit? 500 hours a week, and we just kept going. And you three ladies literally kept me going every time. You really did. Listen, all of you. We've gone a little bit over, and that's fine. I don't care. But I want to invite you back. Will you come back again for me?
Absolutely.
I have no choice.
Yes.
Patty, will you come? Lori, will you come?
As long as I don't have to work, absolutely, 100%.
Awesome. Listen, we've got the next 2 weeks filled up. Let's plan on 3 weeks away. We'll do our best. I want to make it so everybody can be here, because, boy, it would just make my pandemic. Okay. I hope everybody who's watching. Patty, thanks for popping in to see us. You're gonna be back. I will let you all know when it's coming, and we're gonna make it happen. I've got Bonzi next week. I've got a gay porn star, 2 gay porn stars the week after. Okay, I really do. Then we're gonna get our asses back to Titanic again. Okay, because this has been such a joy. I adore you people. I absolutely, Lee, I love you. Patty, oh my God, God bless you. Lori, what can I say? And I'm going to come to Jack in just a minute. I want to take you guys out. Love you guys, every one of you.
Bye, you guys.
Absolutely. Oh, Jack.
I told you this was going to be a good one.
Oh, Jack, that was fun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's coming. Ladies and gentlemen,
Michael,
next week, I want to make sure I want to say the right date. So I'm going to go onto my calendar real quick over here
15th.
so I can say the absolute right date. Because you know me, I'm not really good at that.
15th.
Right there. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 15th of April, the one and only Mr. Michael Onesie.
The day that Titanic sank.
Indeed. It is, oddly enough.
Funny.
And then the following week, we're going to have something really fun. Jack will not be with us that night because she's a gutless cheat.
I
am. But we are going to be, Jack, I don't think, honest to God, I think it'll be very tame.
No, but I think you and Nat will have a good time.
If Nat can be there. It might be Nat Berry Backhouse as our co-host that night. Okay. If not, it's just going to be me. So, but we're going to have Ryan Dixon, who has a past as a porn star, and David Gerard, believe it or not necessarily a porn star, but who had done porn. And what I'm calling this show is from twink to daddy and everything in between. Because life I guess it's the same in the straight world, but you go from being very young and doing what the hell you want and being very old and not necessarily doing whatever the hell you want, but you never know. What my favorite thing is right now, wait a minute. This is my favorite thing in the world. Lee Evereitt is killing himself right now. He's laughing his ass off right now. I love this. I love this. Thank you for that, Lee. I love you.
Lee is going to be watching next week.
So that's going to be next week. And that was, oh my God, that made my whole night. Thank you, Lee Evereitt. So I'm excited. And you notice tonight, Jack, I'm not killing myself at the end of the show.
I know.
What I have discovered, I have found, I went out and I bought some local honey.
I've been telling you that for years.
And you take a tablespoon of that shit in the morning and it takes care of you for the day.
Well, that's because it helps with your allergies.
And by the way, folks, I do want you to know this is not my house in the back. I wish to Christ. No. Okay. Jack, once again, and I will see you in the morning, yes?
Tomorrow morning, yeah, 10. 10?
Sure, yes. Okay. Yeah, because I dropped Webster off at 9:30. Jack and I are having, so you know, everybody out there who's listening, Jack and I are having breakfast at whatever the hell it is, 903 Mills at 10 o'clock in the morning. You are all welcome to join us, okay? If you like 903 Mills, 10 o'clock in the morning, we will be there. Who's talking? Ann Smith. I did the Mercado with David Gerard. I didn't know about the porn. Well, and you're gonna learn. There's more. There's more. I like making jelly. Fuck you, Schneider.
I was waiting for you to see that, Joe. I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Fuck you, Ron. Anyways, so we're gonna have breakfast in the morning, 903 Mills, 10 o'clock in the morning. If you want to come, you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you. Well, am I right? We would. Webster's going to do groomer, and then we're going to do that. So, Jack, I adore you. Love you. Take care. See you in the morning, okay? Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, very quickly. Next week, the one and only Michael Wanzi. The week after that, Ryan Dixon, David Gerard, talking about life in that industry, and then many others. David and both Ryan are both performers, both fine people. And we're going to have some fun with that. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, good night. May your God go with you, as I used to say. And last but not least, when you're out there, look for the helpers. Look for them. Because you know what? They're out there, kids, and they're helping. They're giving you a shot in the arm. Take it. Run with it. Make it better. Wear your mask. Take care, everybody. God bless you. I love every one of you. Bye-bye.